article from Not True Private Radio. One killed in Portland amid clashes between pro-Trump caravan and counter-protesters. They're rioters. They write this news for the audience. These people have been co-opted by the far left, the NPR, or the Not True Private Radio. They're taking our tax money, and they are using it to fund political hit pieces on Donald Trump. Reading the article, it says a man was fatally shot during a night confrontation between Trump supporters and counter-protesters in Oregon. They are rioters. They're not counter-protesters. They're rioters. That was a targeted assassination. On Saturday, the latest high-profile incident in a city that has seen nightly riots for 3 consecutive months. On Sunday, city leaders denounced the violence while President Trump criticized their ability to contain it. It's because they want these people to vote for them. They don't have a spine, so they can't stand up and do the right thing because they're corrupt Democrats. Hundreds of cars participating in a pro-Trump caravan made their way through the city starting late in the afternoon, clashing sporadically with rioters on the route. Police say they're investigating a shooting that took place shortly after 9 p.m. in local time as a homicide. It's an assassination. It is still early in the investigation, and I ask everyone to give that detectives time to do their important work before drawing conclusions about what took place, Police Chief Zuck Lovell said in a statement. The violence is completely unacceptable, and they're working diligently to find and apprehend the individuals responsible. Participants of the Trump 2020 Cruise Rally, which was awesome, gathered in suburban Clackamas Town Center Mall near the afternoon before driving into Portland. Post on Facebook event page encourage attendees to carry concealed firearms rather than open carry firearms in a route on highways outside of downtown Portland. Yeah, that would probably be a good idea. Obviously, Black Looter Mob and Antifa Nazis will assassinate you if you turn your back on them. So make sure you do not turn their back on them. The Associated Press reported that 600 cars were present, and the police said that line of vehicles stretched for miles. As many of those cars and pickup trucks strayed from the route and headed downtown, police say the vehicle occupants and pedestrians sporadically exchanged word, occasionally broke out in fights. Here, let's just watch the videos. Sorry. What else we got here? Good guys coming through. The quote-unquote racist Republicans that freed the slaves and passed the Civil Rights Act. I forgot what year it was. The ones that passed the women's suffrage and created the EPA. Those guys. What else we got? What did Trump say in the tweet? Trump tweeted out to Ted Wheeler. Ted Wheeler said, this is Ted Wheeler's, County Herald said, this is Ted Wheeler's Portland. This is Muriel Bowser's Washington, D.C. What we've been witnessing for weeks now is the ineptitude of city mayors being able to provide safety and peace for citizens. Tonight, the citizens are beginning to take matters on their own hands. And then Donald Trump tweeted, our great nation could solve these problems in less than an hour. Local authorities must ask if it's too late, but people of Portland and our Democrat cities are disgusted with Schumer, Pelosi, and their local leaders. They want law and order. Yes, I live in Eugene, Oregon. I definitely 100% agree with that statement. I want law and order. video of the incident, the man who was shot. This was an assassination. They heard that he was a Trump supporter. And they assassinated him because he had a Patriot Prayer flag.
Do you need an ambulance? Tracy, do you need an ambulance?
Yeah, call the ambulance.
Call
911, man.
Sir, I'm a medic. I just want to... Give me directions.
Help.
Where are we?
Help, man.
I need street names now.
Hey, they're right here. All your dead, all your dead.
Oh, hey. We need a medic.
Hey, you fucking sorry, man.
Here's what the Wikipedia says about Patriot Prayer. It says Patriot Prayer is a far-right group based in the Portland area. Patriot Prayer describes itself as advocating in favor of free speech and opposing big government. These people are the opposite of the far right. The far right means steep social hierarchy with authoritarianism, big government. These people are the small government American conservatives, because American conservatism is different than Islamic conservatism or Chinese conservatism or Indian conservatism. Every country has a different conservative party, but they all share one common principle, and that is it's better to leave in place an authoritarian dictator than to topple them, because what you'll get is a even worse authoritarian dictator in their place. But this is coming from the Wikipedia thing. This is how the Chinese Nazi Party pulled their scam. Is far right always meant fascism, Nazism, the steepest social hierarchies. And they took over Wikipedia by controlling the admin on Wikipedia and banning people. This is how I discovered them. And they added in all this other stuff, such as anti-communist, reactionary, which means you're opposing the liberals. You want it to like stay the same. So this means conservative. It's a catch-all for anybody they want to add in. Say, oh, it's racist, homophobic, xenophobic. So and then it says chauvinist. That means patriotic. If you show extreme patriotism in the United States, then you are a chauvinist. The Proud Boys are a chauvinist group. They're a patriot group. They're not a far right. They're not a neo-Nazi group. When you change the definition of the word, it doesn't have the same meaning anymore. But if everybody still thinks it still means one thing, and then you just change it, mean the other, and then it's like makes people go insane. Nobody knows what the hell it is. They think anything's far right. What's the other one that they say is far right? They say, what is the other one? That's the anti-communist one. If you're far right, then you oppose the Antifa. Now, Antifa joined the Nazis, dude. But the Chinese Nazi Party wants to make the far right as big as possible because they want to start an electronic boogaloo. They did a electronic boogeyman campaign where they painted the Republicans as the racist, privileged white males with the infinite amounts of white privilege, the ones that are oppressing the women, African Americans, the Wasians, and the Kleenex in the big Democrat-run shithole cities where you need Kleenexes to drive the rivers full of lip tears from your snowflake eyes. And so they're saying, oh yeah, then nativist. That was the other one. So this is the other one that said that they're saying if you feel, theocratic. So let me go to theocratic because I'm on it. They're saying that if you have a theocratic government, that you're far right. So they're saying that the Israelis are far right. You're saying that the Jews, the ones who were killed by Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin in the Holocaust, they're saying that those people are far right because those are their enemies. And then the nativist, they said nativist. Where's the nativist one? Did they take it out? But they say they got element. Oh, here, it's down here in the Next one. Say far right can lead to oppression, violence. Sorry. So nativism. So a Hawaiians want the tourists to not take over there, and that rightly so. So a Hawaiian is a nativist. A nativist is someone who believes in immigration restrictions. And if you're unaware about the immigration restrictions, the Democrats are extremely corrupt. Got to take a little detour to teach you exactly about how corrupt these people are. So here's the U.S. Census Bureau's article, A Changing Nation, Population Projections Under Alternative Immigration Scenarios. And this shows you what the Chinese are up to. It's cultural. This is cultural Marxism coming to you from the Democrats, the Democrats. Here's a chart that says U.S. population 1900 to 2016. Populations 2017 to 2060 by immigration scenario. You can see if we have zero immigration, our population is going to decline. That's because most Americans' birth rate's about 1.6 child per woman. You need to have at least 2 children to maintain your line, but to maintain our population, you need 2.1 children. So the Democrats want this high immigration scenario. That's 446.9 million people. And the Republicans have been trying to compromise with this low one, which is 376.2 million people. The delta there is 70 million people. I don't know if you could imagine how much pollution 70 million people is causing. So they say that this is far right. If you try to stop illegal immigration, which there's 56% of illegal immigrants are coming from Mexico. 4 and 5 border jumpers get past the border without getting caught. There's 20 illegal immigrants for every homeless person. Almost 11 of them are from Mexico. They're banging cartel dope, taking shits on the streets. You can, in San Francisco and California, where they have ivory towers, you can be walking down the street and you can get cholera, Hep C, AIDS, HIV, Hep B, typhoid fever, black plague, bubonic plague, TB, and COVID when you step on a pile of shit from a homeless person who was banging cartel dope that he got from an illegal immigrant. And this is what the Democrats want to prevent us from stopping, because they obviously can tolerate people taking shits all over the streets in San Francisco. So they say, if you want this bottom one here, this 319.7 million, then you are a nativist. If you want any immigration restrictions. So this is what they're saying. They're saying any immigration restrictions here. They're saying including supporting immigration restriction measures. So we just got hit by a China cyber weapon, biological weapon, the COVID thing, the Wu flu, Kung flu, CCP virus, the China virus, because it came from China. And China's not actually a race of people. The only people who thought that they were a race of people were the Aryans, right? And they thought the Jews were a race of people, right? The Nazis think that they're a race of people because China is National Socialist. They're strongman, ultra ethno-nationalists with millions of Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps, with a crazy steep social hierarchy and a dictator. They're trying to be the world's #1 superpower. That's Nazi as it gets. They allow private property ownership. That is mutually exclusive of communism, where you have 4 tiers, where you're not allowed to own anything. Everything's communally owned. And this is why Wikipedia has turned into a cyber weapon, along with the propaganda network from the Chinese Nazi-controlled companies who feed you propaganda, atrocity propaganda, run and attack boogeyman propaganda on the internet to do a Civil War II electric boogaloo, an electronic boogeyman campaign to paint the white males as privileged, racist Republicans. And we have to shut this down. This is why I do WikiSpy, a tool for monitoring wiki-like sites for tampering by hostile actors and political bias. If you fund this show, if you can make a donation at realsimplenews.net/donate. Donations go to help fund this research. Here's another video of the shooting. Here we have a video of the suspect in the shooting. He was able to be identified through the tattoo on his neck.
And
oops, sorry.
The government, and that woke me up. I played into it in the past, but I've matured on it. It's done. Because I went to Hong Kong, and I saw millions of people united against the government, and that woke me up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Millions together, left, right, gay, straight, Christian, Muslim, all of them stood together because they knew who the real enemy was, which was China. So that's my dream for America now, man, for us to come back together.
I appreciate that. I know that you guys get a shit ton of vitriol.
Yeah.
Some people, I appreciate that you guys are out here just trying to stay have good, peaceful discussion.
Yeah, definitely. Right on.
Good talking to you.
I'm not sure if they've arrested that guy yet, but if you do, if anybody knows who that is, you should call the Portland Police Department. Here's a story from New York Post. We got the thumb collage background for it. Opposing rallies draw large crowds in Portland as mayor calls for peace. Opposing rallies in Portland. A rally. So that's like, yeah, you're supporting something. Saturday drew large crowds who sprayed mace and tossed smoke bombs, paintballs, and rocks at each other. Quote unquote far right organized. This is fake news. This is fake New York Post. These people are writing the news for the audience. They can't tell you it's a rioter. They can't tell you they're terrorists because they want you to buy the news. This is a scam. It's a giant, massive scam that's being perpetrated right in front of your eyes by foreign newspapers, Chinese Nazi Party, corrupt Democrats, a lot of them being from California, like Kamala the Snitch Harris, who sits on the Senate Select Committee of Intelligence that's behind Russiagate. Right. The ones that have been feeding us full of fake news garbage, causing race riots all over the country. Organizers with the event with the stated goal of saying no to Marxism. Because if you're anti-communist, this makes you far right. Right. Okay, so let me get this straight. America, the red, white, and blue, we fought the Nazis in World War II. They were the far left. And then after that, we fought in Korea and Vietnam. Duh! We fought the far right and the far left. Both of them. Because they're terrorists. Both sides. Far left, far right, both of them. They're terrorists. You call them the far right and the far left because they're extremists. You don't call a racist person an extremist. You don't call somebody who doesn't like Islam because they think that, or because they know that the false prophet Muhammad had a child bride named Aisha. You can look it up. She was between 6 to 9 years old. No, that's now like xenophobic. Oh, you want to kick out the illegal immigrants? You're a nativist now. It's like, this is insanity. Once you start changing the words and then you stick everybody in the pile of the enemy who supports America, the conservative power structure, you've become an insane extremist who is a threat to our democracy at that point in time. And so you people need to stop being sheep. You have to stop being nice. You have to stick up for yourself. You have to start supporting people like me on the internet. Nobody likes my posts because they think I'm hateful because I stick up for them. Because I have a backbone. And I've been screwed over so bad by the far left. They've destroyed my entire life. I used to have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. because of these people. And they just think, oh, it's just me. It's just, oh, no, you're the one that's, it's just your fault. Why? Because you're standing up, because you're mad. These people don't understand what the point of a protest is. They don't understand. The point of a protest is not to demand and get change. That is not no. That's not the point of a protest. You have it wrong. The point of a protest is to show people who supports this, who is behind this movement. That is the entire point. It's a democracy, man. They're supposed to make up their own mind at the ballot box. But they want this black looter mob, Antifa Nazis, BLMA, they're called Blamin, BLMAN. The Blamin, they want they want everything. They want to make sure Donald Trump doesn't get elected. They're getting millions and millions of dollars in scam donations. I think it's like hundreds of millions, like some insane number of money, enough to fund a private army, and scam donations from GoFundMe, MoveOn.org, Change.org, and then Any Blue, the Democrat fundraising organization, dude. They're like making so much money, hands over fist. And then they're using it to fund riots. And Black Looter Mob, making money hands over fist. Something about the scam donations. Shit. And they're subverting our elections with, they want to do mail-in voting. These people think, look, I'm in Oregon. We have mail-in voting here. Look, trust me, mail-in voting's bad. It's fraud. It's fraud. Look, when you go to a polling station, you are able to convince other people to vote in your favor. If you vote at home, you're going to get information off of Facebook and social media controlled by Democrats. They're going to be able to rig the election because you don't talk with anybody. When you're at your house, you can be intimidated by your roommates, your partner, your friends. If you don't vote, if you vote for Donald Trump, they're going to kick you out. A lot of people don't have any private places at their house where they can vote. They need to go to a polling station. They have to. At a polling station, you can. They have laws against voter intimidation. You're not allowed to intimidate voters there. You don't have that at home. People can steal your ballot right before the election and prevent you from voting. If they know you voted for Donald Trump, they can say, "Hey, I'll turn in your ballot," and then they can throw your ballot away. If you have memory impairment problems, they could say you forgot to fill out your ballot, and then they could fill your ballot out for you, and then they could have you sign it. Or you could take multiple. You can ask for a replacement ballot, and then you can cut two ballots together. There's so many different ways that you can commit fraud with mail-in voting, and it's your right, your freedom of speech, your right to petition the government on public property is being abridged. The times, places, and manners in which you can engage in free speech and you can petition the government are being abridged. They are being taken away from you by corrupt California Democrats who say, no, not just California Democrats, all Democrats. They're saying, no, the pandemic is going on. We have to show you how good of a job we're doing to protect all of these old people who are going to die anyways. And then they have to make everybody wear a mask, and they have to destroy our economy, shut it down in order to protect people who are going to die anyways. And then they have to make sure that when the pandemic is over, we need to have mail-in voting, right? Because they need to protect you from the pandemic. So they need to get rid of polling places to protect you. This is insanity. This is absolute mob rule justice, like lawlessness, all brought to you by Joe Magoo Biden, the author of the 1994 crime bill that created the prison industrial complex, and Kamala the Snitch Harris. And California Democrats who want to replace the racist white privileged males with Latinos because they're feminist and they want to put off having children until their 30s, and they want to kill off their genetic line because they're in a suicide cult. And in order to mitigate this, or in order to keep their cheap labor supplies up and to keep as many customers as possible, they have to prevent us from enforcing our immigration laws and pack in as many Latinos as you can to make up for all of the white people who are just dropping off the face of the planet from putting off having kids until their 30s. Because feminism and fuck yeah. This is called white feminism, a racist form of feminism where they put the white women's issues at the top. And then they took over the tech companies. They are ivory tower liberals, people who will tell you anything that you want to hear to get you to like the post, watch the ad, buy the product, and vote for them. And this is why they are detestable, and you should never vote for them, ever. And they don't want you to speak. Anybody who speaks out against them, you are now far right. And they are going to censor your tweets. They are going to not share them. They won't. They are going to remove your post for either hate speech or spam. If they can't call it hate speech or bullying or cyber harassment, they're going to call it spam. Or they're just going to they're going to trickle your votes down to, or your views down to so long that you'll just give up by attrition because you can't grow. And this is how they're going to control the democratic process, by controlling which videos you see during the election time so that they can push their narrative to get their corrupt ivory tower liberal Democrat in office, because Donald Trump is a racist, and these Republicans in these poor rural states are racist, privileged white males who are holding down the WAMAN, the African Americans, the WASIans, and the Kleenex in the big Democrat-run shitholes, that they need Kleenexes to dry their rivers full of lib tears from their snowflake eyes. This is Biden's America. This is Fauci's America here. This is what happens when you let Democrat scientists control the narrative. They're going to look at everything through a lens, a democratic lens, and then they're going to push nightmarish policies because they want you to like them, because they have to be in control, because they're at the top of the ivory tower, and they do focus groups, and they just want to tell you anything to get you to vote for them. They don't want to do the hard thing that's not popular. No, they want to do the focus group thing. Their plan is to, Biden and Harris want to give out $15,000 home loans to first-time minority home owners. They want to give loans to minority-owned businesses, and they want to make the Federal Reserve talk about race. I am in Oregon. There's 1.9% black people here. So you're going to take my federal tax money that we're paying out the ass, throwing federal tax money, burning it up. Our hard-earned labor that we work for. It does not grow on trees like the magic money machine the Democrats have. And so they just want to take your money and they want to use it to get the blacks and Latinos to vote for them and the women. And that's what they're planning. That's their entire business model is based off of this. This is their entire modus operandi. This is it. This is, oh yeah, wait, I got to tell you what the thing, I'm sorry. I forgot last time too. The article from Pew Research is entitled An Examination of the 2016 Electorate Based on Validated Voters. And then you will see the demographics of who voted for the Democrats. And you'll see that their demographics that they pander to are, they get all of the black people to vote for them. And they get the 2/3 of the Hispanics to vote for them. And then they get the women to vote for them because they promise to give them more money. They say the women are oppressed. The women, the women are oppressed because they're underpaid. And as it turns out, it's a lie. It's a lie. This is an article. It's from Walmart's marketing department. A bunch of statistics. Everything's legit. Statistics on the purchasing power of women. And you can see that women control over almost 2/3 of the wealth in the United States. They control 85% of consumer spending. They have almost 2/3 of the college degrees now. They buy 92% of the vacations, 91% of new homes, about 2/3, 65% of cars, 93% of food. Hey, thanks. That's cool. That's great. They have 89% of bank accounts. They say they're underpaid. But it's all a lie, because all of this is a carefully contrapted lie in order to cover up all of the failings of feminism, how it's causing a low birth rate and for their people to fall off the face of a cliff and to be replaced with immigrants. And if you're unfamiliar with the data behind this, because this is probably a shock for most people have no clue. This is the intellectual dark web. Welcome to the intellectual dark web. I'm not here by my own volunteering. I was put here by lefties who canceled me. So here we can see from this study from Migration Policy Institute, which is a pro-immigrant website, it says children in U.S. immigrant families. We could see that in 1990, only 13.4% of children were born from immigrants. And in 2018, 25.9% of our population was born by immigrants. This is Democrats. These are Democrats who are doing this. We can see that in California, 47.1% of children born are from immigrants because it's a sanctuary state. In my home state of Oregon, you can see that the Democrats have swapped out started in 1990, it was 8% babies born by immigrants. Now it's 24.8. So they swapped out 16% of our population with immigrants, children of which are good people, they're lovely people. I love them. If you know any of them that want to date me, I'm single. But these are our children are not going to be able to control our country anymore. And they say that this is far right because they're under the control of a Chinese psychological operation that is attempting to perform cultural Marxism, which most people don't know what that is. Marxism is a detestable belief started by a white supremacist named Karl Marx, who endorsed genocide. And it's the basis of communism. And they believe that after World War II, they said that it wasn't Marxism that failed, it was the culture that failed. And this caused the Chinese Communist Party to murder over 60 million people in Asia in a massive genocide. So it is a detestable belief. It is the equivalent. It is worse than Nazism. It is the worst thing that it is one of the worst things that can happen to your country. It is an absolute psychotic genocidal nightmare. It isn't. We have to fight this. We cannot allow this. They're using Hollywood. They're propping up bad movies in Hollywood, replacing formerly white male characters in badass movies with a Wham-Man, a African-American, a Wanjian, or a Kleenex. And they make way more money off these movies in China than they do in America. They make billions and billions and billions of dollars in China. So this allows Xi Jinping to prop up whatever movies and actors that he wants in China or in Hollywood. And it allows them to do institutional anti-white racism. And they're using this in order to do cultural Marxism in the United States through the removal of our statues, the removal of the privileged white males. Also, Chelsea Clinton here. Keep tuned. Chelsea Clinton's coming in here. And they want to wipe us off the face of North America because they are cultural Marxists. They think the white man's racist and that they won't share with the minorities. And so we have to take the far left and the far right, hit them with an electronic boogeyman campaign to turn them against each other, and then get them to annihilate the conservative power structure so that China can be the number one superpower. And this is all brought to you by the Democrats. Doesn't that make your blood boil? It makes your blood boil, right? So these are the people they are opposing. Sorry. Don't want to get another copyright strike. There, you see these copyright bots on YouTube? They give you a copyright strike with the bot. Bot doesn't have any rights. It's not a person. So it's not a human. They don't review the stuff. They just have a bot harass you. It's illegal. Sorry, gotta. Now I really despise these music companies that do the copyright strikes. I despise them. These people work in an industry where they sell samples that they pirated from other people. And then they hit you with copyright strikes. Here's some, I don't know what happened here. What happened? Let's go back. So we had some fire. Did somebody throw something at him? Oh, they were maced first. So look, they got maced first. Mace, right there, mace. See, yeah, they say MAGA terrorists shooting paintball guns at loud but peaceful black looter mob. No, you saw it. They sprayed mace at them. The pro-American, the people who are on our side, returned fire like they're supposed to. Here's this next video. We can see they're blocking the roads unlawfully. And they're like, oh, these people, they're so far right. They're so far right. And these people do the exact same thing. They're like saying, these people are so horrible for doing this. These people are so bad. Oh my God, they do that. And then they'll pull out a gun and shoot you. They're hypocrites. They're white feminists. BLM Antifa Nazis. Blamin'. Here's some more images of the Patriots coming to save us. Copyright bots. Yeah. I think we already watched this. I'm not sure. What else we got? Here's what the black women think.
So for weeks, Mayor Wheeler has been supporting the violent riots in his city. He's been allowing businesses to be burned. He's been protesting and rioting with the looters and the rioters. He's been accepting this. President Trump has been asking to send help to save the businesses in his town, and he has refused. Now he comes out and tries to pretend like this is President Trump's fault. I'm sorry, sir. Nobody's buying it. We don't have a short memory. We see what you're doing. We see what Democrat mayors are doing. We see what's happening. We know that you thought that it was going to be a good election strategy to burn down cities and allow your supporters to terrorize American citizens, and you thought that was going to work. And now it's backfiring. Your polls are dropping like a rock. So now you want to flip the script on President Trump. It is not working. Mayor Wheeler thinks we're stupid.
Amen. Thank you, woman. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for proving it. Not all African Americans support Democrats. These are the people who I support. I'm on their side.